What is up, guys? I am here with a DVD review for the highly anticipated Attitude Era DVD. As well as DVD came out yesterday, and I was able to watch this entire thing, not just a documentary, not a match or two, but the entire DVD yesterday. Yeah. I was watching the matches and segments, and I guess I couldn't get enough, so I ended up finishing the entire thing. Stayed up till about almost 5 in the morning today, watching this and finishing it, so call me a little crazy there, but hey, you know, when I want to watch it, I really want to watch things, so let's jump into the review now, so let's get to it. Alright, on the DVD cover, you got good old Mankind, you got Yurpearl, you got APA Lita, Jerry the King Lawler, JR, the Dudleys, the Godfather, Gangrel, the Hardys, Trish, Chris Jericho, Edge and Christian, Big Boss Man, Marvelous Marc Mero, Jacqueline, Shane McMahon, Mike Tyson, Stephanie McMahon, Big Show, Kurt Angle, Al Snow in the Head, Val Venus, Goldust, Sable, Dude Love, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Triple H, Undertaker, Kane, Paul Bearer, Mr. Sacco be trolling, Shawn Michaels, WWE logo with the F, censored by DX screen, Mr. McMahon, Gilbert, Jimmy Cordeas, GTV, and just a bunch of inside jokes here. I really like this cover. You know, it's basically the, if you don't know, it's the Beatles, Sgt. Pepper's Only Band Club cover. So, yeah, I like the cover. Pretty badass. The side, the Attitude Era, 3-disc set. The back here, got McMahon's car being cemented. Bust out your awesome 316 shirt, strike a 5-second pose, heat up a delicious slice of pie, and count down to Y2J all over again with the Attitude Era. Go back to the day of dysfunctional disorder and defiant, when radical anti-heroes ditched saying their prayers and taking their vitamins, for opening up a can of whoop-ass and laying the smackdown, when rebels ruled the airwaves and PG stood for puppies and grapefruits. This 3-disc Sauber knocker is packed with all the action pushed, censored to new limits, shattered cable TV ratings, and crushed WWE's competition like a Spanish announcer stable. Featuring the Austin McMahon rivalry, the invention of Hell in a Cell, TLC, Brawl for All, and more, the revamping of Superstars' entrance music, all the top superstars such as Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Mick Foley, all 3 of them, the Generation X, The Undertaker, Edge and Christian, Chris Jericho, Trish Stratus, The McMahons, Kane, APA, Sable, Goldust, Val Venus, and more. When you open this bad boy up, you do have basically the same thing as the front, but with more superstars, more inside jokes. Yeah, some more superstars. I'm not going to name them, you guys know who they are. I love how Albert just trolls that entire left side right there. Look at Sonny. Alright, and before I go further, I don't know if someone's going to ask me about this, but that's going to be on the DVD, or the plastic when you get the DVD. TV-14, parental advisory, exclusive content. So, I know I'm going to get asked that question. And yes, this DVD is full of WWF logos, not a WWE logo in sight. Besides the documentary, because they have the interviews that have the WWE logo in the corner. But that's besides the point. And if you want the DVD version, I highly recommend you guys would have got the Best Buy one, because it includes exclusive content, which is a GTV with Al Snow in the Head, Mae Young giving birth, Stephanie McMahon versus Lita for the women's title, and the Hardys versus the Dudley Boys. So, I hope you guys would have gotten the Best Buy one, if you got the DVD, of course. You open this up, and got advertisements. And no, they did not come crumpled like that. I did that because I was going to throw them away, but I decided to save them because I want to show you guys the inserts they trolled you with in this DVD. From Andre the Giant to Zack Ryder. What a downgrade that is. You got a good old WWE shop. There's a code for you guys right there. Got some movies coming out. Don't care, don't care, care, semi-care, don't care, and don't care. Alright, and you have the discs. They're pretty plain, generic. Attitude 1, 2, 3. And behind each disc, behind disc 1, get the Alright, you have. Alright, want to make sure I didn't scratch that when I dropped it. DX invades WCW Raw 4/27/98. As you guys can tell, behind these things, they have the glue behind them. I don't know why they did that. I never saw those in the other DVDs, but you can see, well, you can see it right there too. They have glue behind this finger thing, so that was weird. I guess they really wanted the panels to be down. So it's behind disc 1, disc 2, paging Dr. Austin, Raw 10/5/98, epic pan to the head. See the glue right there. Basically like ruining the cover art, but hey, I'd rather have the panels on there for good instead of coming off one of these days. And Rock, This Is Your Life, Raw 9/27/99, Rock, Mankind, Yerple. Alright, so those are the 3 discs you get. And here's the insert you get. Here's the chapters you get. Birth of the Attitude, Entrance Music, D-Generation X, Austin vs. McMahon, Lauren Archie Stories, Innovations, New Demographic, Critics, Expansion Comedy, Wealth of Talent, The World is Watching, and Waterish Period. And these are all the extras on disc 1 after you finish watching documentary form watch extras. I'm not going to name them, you guys can read. I hope you guys can read. And here are the matches and segments on disc 2. Matches are in the description in case everyone wants to see them. In disc 3 you do have all these wonderful matches as well. And segments. Alrighty, now in this DVD, in this DVD, the documentary is only 57 minutes long. It's not a long documentary, which I'm not complaining about because I didn't expect to get a documentary in general. But they started a documentary talking about the birth of the Attitude Era. They basically said when Vince McMahon came out, well, he didn't come out, but they showed the clip of him saying how the WWF back then is going to be more realistic. It's going to have more realism into it. That's how it really started the Attitude Era to some people. Well, to him, basically, was what started everything. And they went on to say that the entrance of a superstar really what defined them. Because entrance, it pretty much gives the crowd a reason to like you. Because, oh, this guy's, he's cool. Like The Rock's entrance, he was cool back then. Austin, heard that glass shatter, you knew shit was going down. When you heard DX, Are You Ready? You know what was going down as well. So entrances back then basically meant a lot. And really defined people back then. And DX, they talked about DX, how Triple H said him and Shawn were trying to get Vince to do it, have him do it for a while, and Vince McMahon was kind of putting it off. He finally said, you know what, all right, let's do it. And DX just were basically comedy gold. They were a huge hit to the WWE. They're basically the NWO of WWE, basically. That's what they describe them as, basically. And they were just really, really big. They started recruiting more members, such as X-Pac, the New Age Outlaws, who the New Age Outlaws didn't even expect to get in the group. They didn't even, think of it. But when they got joined, they're like, all right, we're going to work with this. And DX was just a huge hit back then. Austin vs. McMahon, they talked about how they basically made the McMahon character from that rivalry. They basically made McMahon the tyrant, and Austin was the hero that everyone wanted to see kick Vince's ass. And Austin McMahon feud was a huge part of the Attitude Era. You could pretty much say it kind of defined that era, because without that, Austin probably wouldn't. He would be huge, of course, but he wouldn't be as huge because he's only the guy who kicked Vince McMahon's ass. But that was a huge deal back then. They started talking about how, how everyone was innovative, everyone was original, everyone was doing something different. How you had Rikishi, Grandmaster Sexy, and Scotty Duhati, Too Cool. How they did the whole dance gimmick, that was original. Val Venus, he was a film star. Oh, let me rephrase that. An adult film star who everyone loved, and just everyone back then was just so different. Everyone was so original, and everyone was known. If the jobbers were known, everyone was known in a way. So no matter who came out, you're almost guaranteed a reaction because everyone was known back then. So everyone was just different, original. It was really, really good. Their talent was really, really well back then. New demographic, how they wanted to they were aging for guys to watch wrestling from 18 to 34 was their age range they were aiming for. So they basically didn't want kids watching because like they were showing clips of Godfather and his hoes and DX being inappropriate. They're showing clips and they're like, man, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't want my kids watching this, but the kids still did. They're basically aiming for adults, but they got all the everyone was watching it back then. That's how popular wrestling was. Everyone was watching wrestling. Like it was the coolest thing back then. Was just wrestling, and it's amazing how things change nowadays. But wrestling was really huge back then. Critics, they basically talked about how people would pick certain segments or things from wrestling, and they'd basically trash it. They actually got sued, but I forgot who it was. I think it was PTC. I'm not 100% sure who it was. I think it was PTC. But they tried suing them or whatever. I'm not sure if it's suing, but it was like some kind of lawsuit, which WWF won. So it really didn't, phase them. But it did get them some bad views on them from that. Expansion comedy. They talked about how when they opened up SmackDown, well, not SmackDown. I forgot to mention this. I think it was part of the demographic where they did SmackDown just because UPN was a local network at the time. So when they put wrestling on a local network, some people might be flipping the channels like, oh, look, this is pretty cool. And then that would gain more viewers because, hey, you're getting local people now watching. So that was a great way to get more people to tune in to wrestling was SmackDown because that was a local channel. But the expansion comedy basically described how, majority of superstars where if they were like really over and like really like popular, chances are they're really funny. Such as Triple H when he did the Nation of Degeneration thing, when they mocked the Nation Domination DX, and how Austin's always funny, how Rock's always funny. They basically said that comedy was like a huge part of some people's characters back in the day, which was really cool to see. The Wealth of Talent, they talked about how much every talent wanted to be on the show. They're basically saying if your segment's gonna suck, you're basically going back to the line. You're basically getting the backbone, and I'm getting my chance opportunity. Everyone would get on the show. That's why they started Sunday Night Heat, not only to get last minute pay-per-view buys, but to get some other talent on the show so people can see them as well. So it was good for talent to have Sunday Night Heat to go on and SmackDown. So it's a good thing that they're basically battling to be on the show. They said like, hey, I should be on the show, not you. And if your segment sucked, like I said, you're in the back of the line, but I'm in front now. They're basically battling to get on TV, which I don't blame them. Back then, I'm pretty sure everyone would be on TV. The world was watching. Basically, that's when they started getting really popular, and they had the WWF in New York in Times Square or whatever, New York. And like I said, they were talking about wrestling. Wrestling was on TV Guide, like the cover of TV Guide. You always saw a wrestling star on there, and just it was so popular. Everyone at schools wearing shirts. They were on TV shows like every week. It was insane how popular wrestling was back then. They were beating freaking NBA ratings. Like NBA would begin like a 1 point something, like 7, and wrestling would begin like an 8.2. I'm like, holy shit, man! Like they were getting really high ratings. Hell, the Mean Street Posse versus the Stooges was one of the highest rating main events. It was insane how popular and how big wrestling was back then. It was amazing. And they basically came down saying the end of the Attitude Era was basically when WCW got bought out. Because, the reason why they were so good back then was because they had a competition. They had, if they weren't good, they were going to get horrible ratings. No one was going to watch them because, oh, well, why should I watch this show when WCW is putting a much better product on? So they had to step their game up, and that's why the whole Attitude Era really existed, because they had to step their game up against WCW. And when WCW ended, they're like, we don't have a competition anymore. What's the point of us doing all these things when we have no competition? We have no reason to do them. So it's basically what ended the Attitude Era was when WCW got bought out. But yeah, that's pretty much it. The documentary. There's a lot of interviews with guys like they have archived footage of Eric Bischoff, Val Venus. They have a recent interview with Vince Russo, which is if you don't know, I'm actually a Marc for Vince Russo, so you guys can suck it. But there's a lot of Road Dogg in the documentary. There's a lot of Rikishi as well, Mick Foley. There's just basically a handful of superstars, a lot of appearances on. They have Rock and Austin on here, but it's footage from their DVDs, their most recent ones. So it wasn't anything special. But documentary, it was really well put together. I really enjoyed it. But the thing is, some parts felt very rushed. Like some parts they might spend like 5-7 minutes talking about, but there's some parts where they literally talked for a minute or maybe less on. So documentary was short but good. This 2 and 3 were awesome. I didn't like some of it though because some of the matches had no finish or didn't even start. So it's kind of pointless being on here, but it was entertaining. DVD definitely a must buy for any wrestling fan in my opinion. But this is my review. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'm out, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Pick up that Attitude Era DVD. Next DVD, 3 to set, will be the Raw 100 Moments. I've already seen the listing, and I cannot wait for that DVD, and I can't wait for the video to be up for you guys. So thank you for watching the video, and I'm out, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Later, skaters.